Order 52.1 to make a statement on the issue of general topical concern and national importance, namely contempt of Senate committees' invitation by county governors. Mr. Speaker, sir, in carrying out our oversight mandates over county governments, committees of the Senate issue invitations to county executive governors to deliberate and interrogate matters within the mandates of respective committees. Mr. Speaker, sir, a trend has developed where some governors have consistently failed to honor invitations by committees and in so doing requests for postponement of meetings without justifiable reasons. The frequent request for postponement of meetings has greatly derailed the effective discharge of committees' mandates and thus negatively impacting on the oversight mandate of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, sir, notably, the Governor of Kisii, His Excellency Simba Arati, has on 3 invitations in the current calendar year failed to appear before the Senate County Public Accounts Committee on the grounds of traveling outside the country without the reason as to why he is traveling outside the country, just to avoid appearing. So, Speaker, sir, further, the Governor of Isiolo, His Excellency Guyo of Isiolo County, has failed to appear to various committees, specifically the devolution committees and others, but only send written response without communication on his non-appearance, and even issuing in-person to threats to some of the senators. Mr. Speaker, sir, the prevalent disobedience of committee invitations, and of course, Mr. Speaker, these governors should be ashamed of what they are doing. The prevalent disobedience of committee invitations amounts to the contempt of the Senate authority, which enjoys the quasi-judicial mechanism of status of the High Court, and even checked will negatively erode the confidence bestowed on the House by the great people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, various committees have applied Section 18 and 19 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act to compel witnesses to appear. The penalties imposed by the Act are not deterrent enough. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, in order to realize optimal cooperation by the county entities, the Senate may consider amendments to Article 125 of the Constitution of Kenya and to the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act to provide for higher penalties for violation of the Act. Further, legislative interventions be developed, Mr. Speaker, to empower the Senate to be conferred with original jurisdiction to initiate impeachment of a county governor for gross violation of the law and failure to comply with accountability frameworks provided under the law. So, Speaker, I am issuing this statement on behalf of the Senate Public Accounts Committee as the powerful Vice Chairperson. Myself and the chair, we enjoy a cordial working relationship and like other institutions, Mr. Speaker. With those very many remarks, I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to comment about the statement raised by Senator S.C. Okenyuri on abductions. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that should concern every Kenyan of goodwill and every Kenyan that wants to see a country that have a developing democracy. Mr. Speaker, anybody given power in this country must exercise it in the right way and for the benefit of Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, police officers are trained to be able to arrest anybody in broad daylight, Mr. Speaker, and of course prefer charges against them if need be. Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, I'm raising under standing order number 1. Mr. Speaker, you've ruled that this session will last for 15 minutes. but I keenly noted that you did not rule what a senator's term could look like. And given that a number of us would also want to chime in, would you please perhaps give a guidance, perhaps it will take 2 minutes or so? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I may want to also to let Senator Eddie know that the Speaker knows his job, just in case. So, Mr. Speaker was saying that it's a matter of concern, these abductions, Mr. Speaker, and hooded police officers arresting people. This is something that we should not allow in this country, Mr. Speaker. The statement by Senator Cherargei, Mr. Speaker, also cannot go, of course, uncommented about, Mr. Speaker, because we have the right to oversight our county government. Any governor that does not honor the invitations by the Senate must be called to order, Mr. Speaker. And so I support in total the statement and the plan by Senator Cherargei to see to it that we rein governors, because, Mr. Speaker, as was said by the former majority leader, Adan Duale, Mr. Speaker, pesa wanazokuwa nazo si za mama zao. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would like to just support Honorable Cherargei as my Vice Chair in the Committee of CPAC. Mr. Speaker, this matter is not simplistic. We have been sitting in the CPAC Committee, and indeed, without anybody interpreting and thinking that our agenda is basically to make sure that we disagree or we make noise at the governors whom we disagree with. That's not the issue here, Speaker. There are some governors, we've invited them, they have come on time, they send their documents on time. The standing orders require that some of the documents are delivered to us at least 14 days before the period that we meet the governor. And some of them have come with their officers, and we have been satisfied with some of the good work some of them are doing. And yet in reality, Mr. Speaker, where we are now is you find that our responsibility as the team that is oversighting the county governments and even the national government, if we allow this precedent to take place, if we allow governors to unilaterally make a decision that they are going to come up with some flimsy excuse to come and justify why they cannot come, and we interrogate their books so that publicly their voters and their citizens can know whether they've been doing a good job or not, is unconscionable and unacceptable. I would like to thank Honorable Cherargei for standing firm. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, I don't take some of these issues lightly. We know that Honorable Dulo, who's been the senator for Isiolo County, has received death threats. It's on video. We have seen where many of these governors who have got basically impunity telling us how they feel there's nothing we can do. And I will be, in fact, one of the people who's going to support the amendments which are going to come. I think let us be honest and ask ourselves, what happens to a governor who deliberately decides they're not coming? Or what happens to a governor who, once he's been summoned and he pays a fine of 500,000 shillings 10 times? What then do you do with that? How do you create deterrence? And Mr. Speaker, I hope that all the governors will listen to what we are saying. We are user-friendly. We are not their enemies. We are not saying they have done anything wrong. We just want the facts and the reality to be put on the table so that the public can build confidence in our capacities as leaders and as the people who are oversighting both the government and the county governments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.